Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Now, in one of my previous videos, it was a Sigma 30mm, which if you haven't seen, check it out up here. I had a comment asking would I run through the process of how I captured the video and my settings and equipment and whatnot. So what I've decided to do today is bring out the camera and take you on a walk with me, giving you tips and tricks on how I get the shots and explaining how I get them. So let's jump into it. Okay, so we're going to be using the Sony 6400 with the f4 18-105G Sony lens, and this only goes down to f4, so this is going to be a great example showing you how we get the shots. We're going to be using a variable ND filter also to control the shutter speed, and a three-legged thing Billy tripod. Now let me show you the camera settings. I'm in picture profile 10 and I'm in HLG2 mode. And colour mode is 709, and the only other thing that's changed, up the detail to +1. So let's jump into it. Okay, so one tip I'm going to give you is the way you carry your equipment. Now, most people carry their camera in their bag or rucksack with a tripod attached to the outside. I don't do this. I carry mine linked up to the shoulder strap. Can you see that? Of the rucksack. Basically, the camera's attached to the tripod, no lens cover, so the camera and tripod, all I have to do is unclip it and I'm ready to go. This is an excellent way of just getting your camera out really quickly. How many times have you missed a shot where you're fannying around trying to get the camera out your bag, trying to get the tripod set up? This takes literally 2 seconds to unclip and I'm ready to go. So that's one of my favourite tips I can give you. Attach your camera and tripod to your harness on your strap and you're ready to go. So we just had a great example of attaching the camera and tripod to the shoulder strap of me rucksack. Just had two horses walk past me. They were coming, they were walking, but I could see them in the distance. I wanted to set up the tripod and camera really quickly, so I unhooked it, put it on the side of the road, quickly framed up the shot, hit continuous focus, and then switched over to manual focus, so I didn't have to dither around trying to manually focus at the last minute, and hit record and let the horses come past. So this is just a great example of how quickly you can set up your tripod and camera when it's attached to the bag. Admittedly, it's not the greatest shot out there, it's not going to win any awards, and it has been colour graded afterwards because of the HLG2 profile, but it's okay, a great B-roll filler there. Come across this log now, and what I'm going to show you is how to get separation from your foreground element to your background element using a lens that doesn't stop down far enough. So on this Sony here I've got an f4, and that's not really going to give us enough bokeh to separate the log from the background branches. Okay, so here's the log and this is the old railway track. So if I want to take a picture or a video, of this log separated from the background trees and get a nice blur on the background, let me show you what would happen if I stuck this at f4 with 18mm straight open. Let me show you that right now. Okay, even though we have some separation, it's not nearly enough. It's not as much as I wanted. I really want that background to be a lot more blurred, so that the log is separated more. So I'm going to show you how to do this without changing the settings on the lens itself apart from the zoom. And the way we do this, we simply move the camera back, and then once it's down, all we do is zoom in with the lens, keeping this f4, and what that's going to do is give us a lot more separation. Let me show you now. And there it is. By using the zoom function, we're exaggerating the blur and bokeh we get, even though we're exactly the same settings, f4, on both the shots. Let's have a look at the other one now again. And as you can see, it's nowhere near as separated. So yeah, just by using the zoom function, even on a kit lens, you get a lot more separation. So by separating our subject from the foreground or background emphasises the subject that we're filming and makes it look a higher quality than it really is. We can turn a normal boring shot into something that looks a lot more appealing, just like this. So yeah, we're at F4 again, and we've just found this blue gas tank sitting on a mound, and it's a bit boring. But if we use the same techniques as before, boom, as you can see, it's much better. We've just changed the camera angle slightly, pulled the camera back, separated the background from the subject, and it looks so much better. Don't be scared of taking the camera off a tripod or out your hands and just laying it on the floor. I've just used a couple of sticks there, focusing on this gas tank, this old gas tank that I found laying about, and getting that angle gave me a much more appealing shot. So the location I'm in is actually quite boring. It's very average and there's not a lot around really, but if you look really closely everywhere, there's always something that you can capture. Check out this I've just found. Now, I don't know whether you can see this on this camera, but there's a tiny little cobweb just catching the light there. So what we're going to try and do is get the camera set up and try and capture this with as much blur in the background as possible to separate the spider from the background. So using exactly the same technique again, zooming in and separating, we can bring out this spider's web quite nicely. And I think it makes for a rather interesting little clip there. Another great tip for you guys is don't try to force a shot. For example, we have this wall over here. Let me show you with some roots coming out of it. Now, if the lighting was good, it would be an awesome shot, but because the lighting ain't good, then it's rather naff. So I'm not going to try and force it, and it'll just be a crap shot. Let me just show you what I mean. Now, because it's rather bland, the lighting ain't correct, I'm just not going to go for it. So tip is, don't force your shot, let it come to you, okay? So we've just come across this tunnel that goes underneath the railway. Now most people, what they do is take a video of the tunnel from outside, filming it and then uploading it to Facebook, and it's alright. But what we want to do is introduce thought-provoking shots into our videos so that people really question what they're seeing. So just by spending 5 minutes walking around this tunnel and looking for different angles, we could get much better thought-provoking shots. Let me show you what I mean. So instead of the plain Jane shot that everybody would go for, just by looking for different angles, we can get much more interesting thought-provoking shots like this. So another great tip for you guys is always record at the highest quality the camera can. Remember that in your video editor you can always lower the quality, but if you're recording at a lower quality you cannot raise it higher. So always record at the highest quality and you're obviously going to get the best quality. Okay, we're going to have to wrap this video up, unfortunately, now. We've got so much more coming, though. We can't squeeze it all into one video. There's going to probably be 3 or 4, even more than that, probably uploads in the coming weeks, giving you guys extra tips and tricks on how to get better footage, better video for your projects that you're working on. So if you've enjoyed this, give it a like, which is down there, and if you want to see these further episodes that I'm working on, make sure you're subscribed and hit the bell button for notifications of when they're released. So thank you so much for watching. Really means a lot to me, and stay safe out there, guys. At the moment, we'll catch up soon.